Welcome to the Systems Accelerator Manager. We have quite a lot of things that we're going to be covering over the next several days. The intention of each of these is to build up on each other. And at the end of this, you're going to walk away with those 5 major wins that we talked about in that email series. So I'm really excited. But the very first thing we need to do, now that you've logged in for the very first time, is we actually need to go into the profile and add some of our details. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to allow Sam to be able to start to understand who we are, how we write, and what areas of real estate specifically we focus in. So let's go ahead, let's hop into the system, and I'll show you exactly how we find that. Now that we're in the Systems Accelerator Manager, on the top right-hand side, you are going to see hi in your name. And then next to that, there's a white circle with your initials. Now, if you click on that white circle, you're going to have a drop-down menu, and we're actually going to go into the profile this time. So once we're in the profile, this is where you're going to start to fill in all of your important details. So the very first one that you can fill in is your time zone. Now, if you fill in your time zone, this is going to help us later on for all of our automations so that it knows exactly when you want them to be sent out. After that, you can just go through and start filling out information about your brokerage, information about your company, as well as information about your team. Now, currently, because you are a trialing member, you're only going to have yourself as a team member, but once you upgrade to a full subscription, you will have access, depending on what tier of subscription, to other team members. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to fill out our specific team member. Now we do this by clicking into this account owner, and your name should be right next to it. Now, once we're in this, you can start working on your member name, all of the different roles you have, addresses, email, phone number, website. If you have an agent ID, you can do that. And then we're going to start to build out the guts of what we are going to be using inside of the Systems Accelerator Manager. So the very first one is going to be member niche. Now, what is a member niche? Well, oftentimes in real estate, we have specific focuses in different services that we provide. So for example, my member niche might be working specifically with first-time home buyers, specifically with luxury condos, or specifically with custom construction. So these member niches are all different areas of real estate I focus in. Now, if you have not yet identified them, maybe that's something that you spend a little bit of time thinking about, but I would wager you probably already have those identified. So go ahead and fill in as many of them as you have. Maybe you only work with one specific niche of real estate. Maybe you have several different categories that those fall into. Now, if you, like me, have several different ones, you can actually use a semicolon to separate those, and that is going to allow us to select them a little bit later. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like tomorrow as we build out our very first resource. Now, after that, we are going to fill out our member voice. Now, what a member voice is essentially your writing style. What does it sound like when someone reads your writing? So you can go through, and on this right-hand side, you can click through all of the different attributes that you would like to associate with your writing style. Now, if you decide you don't want one of the attributes, you can just uncheck it. But the other thing that you can do is on this left-hand side, you can hit Analyze Content. Now from here, what you can do is click in and either start typing and sharing a little bit of a fun anecdotal story or an example of a message, or you can just grab something that you've written for one of your customers or maybe several of your customers in the past, and you can paste it in here. Now what it'll do from here, Sam will read the resource that you've just pasted in here, and it'll start to gather what your member voice is. So this is really cool. You can either choose it for yourself if you know exactly what you want your writing style or the things that Sam is going to help you write to sound like, or if you're not quite sure, you can analyze the content. Now, after that, we can keep moving forward. We can fill out our member service area. For me, that's the greater St. Louis area. Perhaps for you, you have again, several different service areas. You can use that semicolon to separate all of those. And then any additional information. Now, oftentimes I like to point people towards a profile that they might have on either their MLS, with their brokerage, or just on your website. If you start plugging in all of this additional information, you will be able to give Sam the context it needs. Now, once we have all of this done, what it's going to do is now Sam knows a little bit more about you, specifically how you run your real estate business, what the content that it's going to be helping you create should be written to sound like. And so this is going to allow us to do some really custom tuning of the different content pieces using a little bit of AI. So this is some really cool stuff. We're going to dive into our first example of that tomorrow by generating a custom resource. So I'm really excited, but go ahead and fill out as much information as you can in your profile. Start building out all of these different pieces. Make sure you've got any member niches that you have, or any specifics for that member voice. And then after you have all of that done, I will see you tomorrow in our next training.